Hi, I'm Terry, one of the Consumer Technology Specialists for Mid-Continent Public Library. And today we're going to talk about an issue that happens from time to time, no matter how experienced of a user you are, and that is, what can I do if I just have run out of time and I need to create a document very quickly? Now, it could also be that maybe you have an idea of how to create a document, but you're just a little timid about how that formatting will work. Or maybe you're asked to create a document and you've never created that kind of document before, so you're a little nervous about how to get started. Well, maybe what you will want to do is use a Google Docs template. So what is a template? Well, a template is simply a pattern, and if you've done some quilting, you've probably seen a template for quilting. But it's not only there, you could also use templates for working with wood or working with metal. You may have even used a template in creating, say, a pattern or an idea of how you want to lay out a garden. So templates, patterns, blueprints, whatever you want to call them, they make your job so much easier. In Google Docs, a template already has the formatting for you. It even has some of the really important words that you may need to use within that particular document. And all you need to do is customize and finish that document so that it's what you need. When you first open Google Docs, you do that by going to a browser of your choice and then in the address bar typing docs.google.com. The very first thing you'll see is the Docs home page, and one of the very first things you'll see under Start a New Document is a blank document that has the very colorful plus sign. Now, to the right of the blank document, you're going to see suggestions that are in fact templates. Now, if I go above this last template, you can see this button with the 3 dots. If I click on it, it lets me hide all the templates if I want to do that. But in fact, we want to go to the template gallery to see what templates are available. So we'll click on that. Starting at the top of the template gallery, you'll see that there is a recently used section where it shows you templates that you have looked at or used very recently. Below that, then, we start with the different categories of templates that we might want to use. So the first category here is resumes, and there are about 5 different kinds. The descriptions are really short, so they generally explain the color of the font that you might want to use. It has perhaps the font that is being used, or it describes a particular layout, say this Swiss. So let's click it. And it'll open here. And as we can see, the text is kind of on the right 2/3 of that page with the headings on the left-hand side with some space in between them. So you would place your name here where it says your name, and then you would place your title where it says Creative Director. Again, the your name, so let me just put in somebody here. And that easily I have changed this template, and you can even see that above the toolbar it tells me that this was saved just seconds ago. Well, below that, the street, the city, the zip, your phone number, your email, and then as we scroll down it has room for skills, for experience. Now, if you find that you have your current job and only one previous job, you could certainly delete this third company name piece of information if you needed to. Now, below that, it has education. Now, in this case, maybe you have another school that you would like to add in, so you could copy this and paste it right below and very easily add a third school if you wanted to do that. Below that, then, it has a section for awards. But as we said, this is already saved, so if when I finish, I can go back to the left to the Docs Home button and click on it. Now the only thing is it'll show me my recent documents and that I opened that one particular resume, but I need to go to the template gallery in the upper right to bring back the other templates. So let's do that. And as we scroll down, we can see that there are 5 different kinds of letters. Well, we have an informal letter, and then we have several business letters. Again, we have that Swiss layout where the bulk of the content is on the right, and there's more space on the left if you like that laid out. Or the very first one here, this letter, spearmint, is very much just a basic letter that you may have even learned how to use that, say in a typing class. Below that, personal is kind of a short category. It has a recipe page, which is kind of neat because every once in a while you need to share recipes, and I think most people are beyond those recipe cards that they used to hand out. Or this one, pet resume, well, I guess you want to have your dog act in commercials or something, so a pet resume. Below that we have work, and there are actually a lot more templates here. There are 5, 10, 15 of those. And so as we look at these, we can see that we have meeting notes, for example, different kinds of proposals. If you actually create proposals where you work, there's a newsletter, which might be really helpful. Let's look at that. And so again, I have space on this page to put in my company name and perhaps the newsletter name as well. And as we scroll down, we have a placeholder here that you probably don't want to use this image, but you would use one related to your company. Below that, we have some headers that we might want to use, and of course the text. It shows us how that lays out on the page. It even has a link to a video, which is sort of interesting. And then on page 2, we simply have another placeholder image, another type of heading, and some more text. A link to the website if that's possible. Now, if you don't have a website, for example, you would simply delete that placeholder for that particular link. But it gives you an idea of how you might want to set up a newsletter. Now, this does say that this is for your business, but if you are a volunteer parent and need to create a newsletter, you might decide that this format is just fine for your volunteer work as well. So don't let the category names keep you from looking at the different types of templates that are available. Let's go back to Docs Home. And again, we need to go to the gallery, and we'll click on that, and then we'll scroll down some more through personal, through work, because there is something here that I see with work and also down below that with sales. There are a lot of these blue add-on buttons, which means that these are kind of third-party people who have added in some templates that you are more than welcome to use. And when you click on that, so a mutual NDA, let's click on that. The template will be saved to your Google Drive, and you can use this just like we were looking at the letters and the resumes. And we could scroll down and fill in the blanks as we need to. So if you are used to non-disclosure agreements, it even has the places where you would place the names, for example. And it even has an add-on here for DocuSign. So you could add that on so that you could have someone sign this document and have it be very legal. A lot of attorneys use DocuSign. So this is one way that you could create a non-disclosure for, say, your small business. Well, let's go out of that and go back to our Docs Home. And now we have our NDA and recent documents, but let's go to the gallery. And let's see what else is there. So we've looked at resumes, letters, personal, we've looked at work, below that sales. And we then have some human resources, that a job offer letter, for example, and a freelancer engagement. Both of those are add-ons. And then we get down to education. Now some of this is for instructors, for teachers, and others of it is for the students. So maybe we have an essay here, and several of those actually a book report or a science lab report, different report formats. We have then class notes that you may want to use, and even some lesson plans for the teachers. So let's look at a class notes. Click on it, and we have this nice little image, although it could be replaced if that's the preference. You put in the date, and then social science and the notes for that particular class. Notice that it's all bulleted very nicely, so that would be very helpful. For math, here are some notes for that class, for science, etc. So a student could put in their classes for the day and their particular notes for that day. Might even be helpful for parents to see those class notes on a daily basis. Now that we've looked at the template gallery, let's go to the top where it says template gallery in the upper left, and then there's a left pointing arrow. We'll click it, which takes us back to our Docs home page, and from there we're going to just open a blank document. Click on that plus, because we want to get to the menu bar in that document, and the next to the last choice is add-ons. So we'll click add-ons and then come down to get add-ons. Now remember those blue buttons? We already looked at some add-ons that are extra. They're not default templates for Docs, but we can come to search here, click, and then type in a keyword. And let's just type in Docs templates and press enter. And from here, we can see that the very first choice here is create and print labels with Avery. It's software that you can add on to Docs, and it even has a really high rating of 4.7 stars. And they've had over 1 million people look at it, so that's a really darn good review. Now, as you scroll through, you may see other items that are really interesting to you, and you may say, oh, well, grade smarter, it's time, but it's only 2.8 stars. So then you'd want to read the comments to see why it's only 2.8 stars instead of close to the 5. Sign Now, it might be similar to some signing program where you can digitally sign a document, and that has a pretty good rating of 4 out of 5 stars. Simple Booklet, 3.6, that's not maybe bad, and so you might want to look at it. Now here is another 5-point template, and it is a resume template. So maybe this template would even be better than the ones that we looked at. Oh, well, it's only one person has actually reviewed it. So be sure to look at how many people have used this. And then as we scroll down, you can see that there are even more different templates that you can add in. Now this doesn't have a review yet. 3,000 people have downloaded it, but it's a book writing template. So if you want to write a book, maybe you're into genealogy and you've decided to write a book about your family, this might be perhaps the exact thing that you would like to see. Now I'm going to clear that out, and I'm going to put in education instead. And so now this may be a mix of Docs and Sheets, but for example, we have Icons by Noun Project, which might be really helpful. Let's see, a curriculum planning guide for teachers, or this one, Plagiarism Check. Now it only has 2.5 stars, but because it's free, it might be that your child's teacher will look at this plagiarism check and use it. So be aware of all the different things that can be added in when you have templates that you want to use, but you can't really find them in that template gallery. Now that you've seen how Google Docs templates work, you might decide at some point to create your own. So, for example, I've created a document here that's for a company, and it's really just the letterhead right now. And what I would like to do is be able to use this template over and over again as I send out letters for this company. So the way we're going to create a template is we're going to come up to the name that I've already given as letterhead, and I'm going to be sure to add template to its name so I know this is the one that is the original that I don't want to overwrite, and then I will press enter. Now from here, to save that template in a special place where I can find it in Google Drive over and over again, I have several ways to do that, but one way is to come over to here to where it says Move, and I'll click on that, and then I have a list of all the different documents and whatnot that are on Google Drive, but at the lower left it says New Folder, and since I don't have a templates folder, I want to click on that folder and create one that is called Templates. Now I'm going to go over to the right and click on the blue check mark to create the folder. And then it says the folder is empty. Well, the letterhead template needs to move here, so we'll check on that move here. And now letterhead template has been moved from my drive to templates. And we can say, good, now I have my template. So I could go then to Google Drive to open this particular document, or I can simply keep this one open. Now to actually use this, I want to open my template, but then immediately go to File and make a copy. And you'll notice here that it's always going to be called Copy of Letterhead Template. So the first thing I want to do is take off Copy of, and the next thing I want to do is take off, well, really, letterhead and template, because I want to give this document its own name. So I'm going to call it Letter to XYZ Company. And it's in my folder. I'm just going to click on OK. And it's going to bring up a copy of that template. And now I can start typing for Dear XYZ Company. Now, it's saved as Letter to XYZ Company, and we know that Google Docs saves to Google Drive automatically. And so I am good to go. If I go to the home page of Google Docs, I can see that as I scroll down just a little bit, I have both the letterhead template and I have my letter to XYZ Company. For more information on Google Docs, be sure to look for our online resources at mymcpl.org/online learning. There you will find such great resources as Universal Class, lynda.com, Who Knew It, and Learning Express Library. Be sure to join us each week for a variety of tech topics. Join us on Facebook at MCPL 360 on Tuesday at 2 or Wednesday and Friday at 1. If you happen to miss our Facebook premiere or you just simply prefer YouTube, be sure to look for our MCPL MO channel, which has our MCPL Consumer Technology Resources playlist.